Have you read Romans 1:21? I wonder how many of you listening right now know exactly what Romans 1:21 says, because honestly, I personally was not paying attention to the scripture. If you have this passage, this chapter memorized, chances are you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. It says, "Yes, they knew God, but they wouldn't worship him as God or give him thanks. And they began to think up foolish ideas of what God was like. As a result, their minds became dark and confused." This passage is talking about humanity. Like after God making himself known to them, making himself evident, just like we talked about in episode 1, they still decided that they wouldn't worship God, that they wouldn't acknowledge him, they wouldn't give their lives to him, or even give thanks. Like it starts right there. You lose your gratitude, you eventually lead to a point where you don't honor God anymore, you don't acknowledge him. And then that leads to the point of thinking less of God, thinking foolish ideas, maybe doubting who he says he is, that he's no longer good, he's no longer real. And lastly, our minds becoming dark and confused. You wonder sometimes how people just walk away from God, like out of nowhere, whether they're in a high moment, being successful, earning all this money, or they're in a down moment where they're struggling. It could be like a financial thing, it could be losing a loved one. And in those very seasons, they walk away from God. I know that I was challenged to believe that God was real at a certain point in my life. I think I was about 19 years old. I had a conversation with an atheist, and it challenged me to be strong in my faith. And I started to doubt, and I remember going to a youth leader and saying, "I don't know what happened to me, but all of a sudden I don't believe God is real. And I don't feel good about it, but I also can't force myself to believe that he is real." And she was so gentle and encouraging and did not make me feel bad. I let her pray for me. And shortly after that, I honestly don't know how many hours or days it was, all of a sudden it's like the light turned on and I believed in God all over again. Like I honestly don't know how that happens, but I allowed my heart to honor him and acknowledge him. I didn't have to know everything, but I started giving him thanks. I started seeing him as I was reading the word, and just day to day, just learning to walk with him and know that he is real and he is good and everything that he says he is.